Okay, hello everyone. Thank you all so much for coming tonight. Really, really appreciate you coming out to see these great works of art and read people's stories and understand who they are and what they've experienced in life. So, and I just want to start by saying thank you, Laura, for taking this project on and helping us really, again, tell people's story and really bringing humanity back to homelessness. I know often it seems far away and it seems like maybe not relatable, but it really reminds us that everyone does have a story, and all our stories all led us to where we are today. So we're going to do a little bit of Q&A with Laura to hear about kind of her artistic journey and who she is, and then we'll take questions from you all as well if you have questions for her or about the Homeless Coalition. I'm also happy to share information about us as well. So Laura, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your artistic journey in general? So kind of how you got started and what your what things are like in artists for you.
Sure, I'll tell you, but not before I say thank you to you for being such a great partner and to your staff. It was a wonderful partnership that lasted maybe a little longer than I wanted it to, but I'm really thrilled to be at this day, and I so appreciate you being my partner in this. So I've done art all my life, off and on, and I think the most recent phase of my art began in about 2013 when I decided to take on painting and to start doing it as full time as I could. So that was a good part of my journey. I've done a number of different types of art in my lifetime. I've done greeting card illustration, I've done banners and wall hangings, I've done watercolor, I've done pastel portraits, just a number of different genres and styles. But the thing that I always came back to was faces and figures. So you can see how much I love doing that. Just doing a portrait or a figure in a painting is something that engages me totally and I really enjoy it.
Great, thank you. So what gave you the idea for our community, our neighbors?
Okay, I read a book.
Okay.
Okay, the name of the book was The Happiness of Pursuit, and it had to do with people who had quests. They had something they wanted to do in a specific amount of time, and I really liked that idea. I said, sure, I should do that. And of course, being an artist, it needed to be art related, just to make myself happy. So I thought about doing, actually at first I thought I should do 52 portraits in a year. Crazy. So I thought, okay, back down a little bit, and I think I could do one every 2 weeks. So I brought it back down to 26, and that pretty much, that's where we stuck. So I have a couple friends here, Carol and Laura, who I passed this idea by them about doing. I just felt like the project needed to have a higher purpose rather than just me painting a bunch of portraits. I like to be able to connect my art where I can with the community, and so the idea of doing portraits of somebody who's marginalized would be a good connection to the community. So the idea of doing somebody who had been homeless or who was homeless came to mind. So Carol and Laura heard my idea and didn't say I was crazy. And at the time, Laura was working for TCHC, and she kind of bounced the idea up to the executive director at the time and said that, yeah, she's interested. So I wrote up my ideas and presented them, and
Here we are. Yeah. I did tell Laura when we got here tonight that it was so nice to see this finally come to life. She started pre-COVID and had a bit of a slow start, and then COVID hit and we stopped. And so then we picked back up. So it's amazing to see it come to life and just be able to tell the stories. So, and too, I think that we had that connection the whole time and didn't didn't stop on the quest, even though it looked a little bit different, and took some turns there. So what was your creative process with this project specifically? I know we've highlighted on our social media. You can check out some drawings and interviews, tours, but can you kind of walk us through what your process was to arrive at these works?
Sure. The first thing I did after the interviews were scheduled was I sat with each subject for a little while. I had a predetermined list of questions, and part of the point of the questions was not to say, how did you become homeless? It was to point out their humanity and their individuality. So we went through the questions, and then after the interview part of it, I used my iPhone to take pictures of each subject at various angles and different poses. So I took those photographs then back to the studio, and that's what I used as a reference to do the painting. So the first part of the process was I did sketches on my iPad of each individual. So that allowed me the chance to become familiar with each person's face and kind of see where I might have issues, not getting the proportions correct. So it was a good exercise in learning what each person's face was.
Okay.
And then when I got ready to paint, I had their image, the full color image on my iPad, which I have sitting right next to my easel. And I just start with that. You'll see in some of the videos that sometimes I did two at a time. Just because they're fairly small and they both fit on an easel. And when I'm thinking about issues with one, I could be working on the other, kind of go back and forth. If I run into a roadblock on one, I just let it sit for a while and then go to another one.
Interesting. So anything surprising that you learned about people when you were interviewing them, or something that you didn't expect?
Yeah, one of the themes that came up repeatedly was their responses to the question, what is your gift or talent? And if y'all have been reading the stories, you probably noticed this. A lot of them said, well, I'm really good at helping people, or I like to help people, or if I can help somebody, I do. And I thought that was particularly touching from the circumstances that, no one would think it's surprising if people didn't have to just look out for themselves in those situations, but they were concerned about the people around them.
Yeah, absolutely. So how has this project changed maybe your work or impacted you personally, that you, like something perhaps that you'll take away or carry forward as you embark on other projects?
Well, it gave me a lot of practice doing portraits. That was really fun, because I do enjoy painting faces, and so I think I've probably gotten a little better at it. From a more personal point of view, I think that it just gave me more insight into what homelessness is like. And the reasons for them. The reasons were all over the place. Some people were homeless because they'd been particularly generous. One man had been living with his sister when the sister's daughter and son-in-law lost their jobs because of COVID and needed to move in with her, and there wasn't room for all of them, so he moved out. So, and sometimes it was drugs or alcohol, or bad relationships, or losing a job, having health problems. They were so varied. So that really gave me a lot of insight into that.
Absolutely. I will say that's, I think, one of the things that I love about it too, and I've talked to a number of you all about that, just how it does shed light on the humanity, and that, like I said, we all have a story, and that led us to where we are now. And as does everyone else who experiences homelessness, that we try to make sure they have a place to call home. So I want to say thank you again. Also want to say thank you to Ruben for and the Templeton Gallery for hosting this show. It's an amazing space. Yes, we can being a partner for us and making the show so accessible. We'll put the show details for everybody online. We would welcome, the show will be up until April, till the end of April. So we would love to have people stop by. You're welcome to come and see them. It's available and accessible to everyone. It'll also be part of Gallery Night, is my understanding, so participate in that. But please come and see and learn, and just learn more about homelessness and see Laura's beautiful work and support the Homeless Coalition. So thank you all for coming, and Laura, thank you again, and appreciate you all. Thanks.